What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we have more Destiny 2 news stuff to talk about, and this comes in the form of This Week at Bungie. So they talk about some gear which is going to become obsolete or unobtainable inside of Year 2, but they also talk about some Year 1 weapons that are going to return inside of the Forsaken expansion, but with random roll upgrades, the ability to put mods on them and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about that. Bungie also talk about the combat reveal stream, which of course we do have a new trailer for. We talk about some things to bear in mind for the Solstice of Heroes, a few known issues, and a few words about Update 2.0, which of course is the pre-Forsaken update coming on August 28th, and we have a few other things to talk about in this video, so as always, if you guys do enjoy it, a like below is very much appreciated, but without further delay, let's jump straight into it. So let's start out by talking about some Year 1 gear and Year 2 gear going into Season 4 of Destiny 2. Of course, that starts on September 4th, 2018 with the Forsaken DLC. So Bungie say, as Year 1 comes to a close, many of you are searching for every available item or piece of gear that can be found in Destiny 2. Some items will still be available in Season 4, such as destination weapons and armor sets, but other Year 1 items will be retired from vendors when Destiny 2 Forsaken releases on September 4th. And that's going to include the Year 1 Vanguard weapons, armor, and seasonal rewards, the same for the Crucible and the Gunsmith, but for Gunsmith it will include Year 1 mods which will no longer be obtainable, so all of that stuff's going to become irrelevant. They also confirm that you'll actually be able to turn in your existing mods to Banshee and get materials for new mods, so that's cool. But Ikora's Year 1 armor and emblems, the Trials of the Nine weapons, armor, shaders, ships, sparrows, and ghost shells, and then Iron Banner, weapons, armor, shaders, ships, sparrows, ghost shells, and even the Cade Stash emblems from Year 1 as well. So all of this stuff is going to go away, but as they did mention, some of the destination weapons and armor sets will still be available in Season 4, so they are actually calling this Season 4, which is the first time we've heard it referred to as that. But DMG does finish by saying, while these Year 1 items will be retired from vendors, the vendor stock will be refreshed with new gear featuring random rolls, ready for all players to earn in Year 2. So random rolls are going to be on vendors' inventory, which is definitely fantastic. We say some items may return in Year 2, but not exactly as you remember them. Come September 4th, a small number of weapons that you know and love will be updated to Year 2 standards, featuring random rolls and the capacity to accept Year 2 weapon modifications. As a final note, players who have obtained these Year 1 items can infuse them to higher power levels in Year 2. They do make reference to Destiny sets if you are actually trying to collect everything from Year 1. So they are going to be Year 1 weapons exclusive to players that obtained them during Year 1 that will then be updated to Year 2. Pretty interesting. The image they actually provide when they talk about all of the kind of updates to certain Year 1 weapons is actually one of the Better Devils right here. So does that mean Better Devils is coming back? Well, personally, I'd guess that there's a good chance of that. But pretty interesting stuff. Let me know your thoughts down below on the redundancy of certain gear. I'm pretty excited to see some Year 1 weapons come forward and actually have random rolls. Also, having vendors with random rolls is really good for the game. Next though, Bungie talk about Solstice of Heroes. Of course, we have the orbs that you can generate when you're actually wearing the Solstice armor. They do confirm that you have to have an entire Solstice armor set equipped, but they say be aware that elemental alignments will expire when Solstice of Heroes concludes at the weekly reset on August 28th. From that point on, players will no longer be able to generate elemental orbs and will no longer be able to upgrade their Solstice armor. So you have until August 28th, and then the functionality, the kind of bonus that you get with that different element, is actually going to go away. They add that they do know of some of the issues. Some players are unable to upgrade their Solstice armor after completing all objectives. Objectives requiring specific Crucible Valor ranks are not progressing for some players, solar weapon kill objectives sometimes do not gain progress, and solar super kill objectives for the rekindled Titan helmet is progressing slower than others. So those are some things that they're actually working towards fixing, but they give some vital information about Destiny Update 2.0, which of course is the 28th of August update, the pre-Forsaken update where we get the weapon slot changes and things like that. They say at the conclusion of Solstice of Heroes on August 28th, Destiny 2 will be updated to prepare for the launch of Forsaken. In the week between August 28th and September 4th, players will see some unusual behavior in-game as we make the transition into Year 2. Here is a short list of what players should be prepared for, with more details to come at a later date, but in general, collections and the vault will not be available. Specifically, this includes the collections for emblems as well as exotic weapons and armor. If players want to have an emblem or exotic in their inventory during this week, they need to prepare the inventory ahead of time. On top of this, Nightfall Strike scoring will not be available. Bungie say say they'll have more info about how strikes and nightfalls will be changing in Forsaken in the coming weeks. This is all in an effort to set the table for the launch of Forsaken. Pardon our dust and please plan accordingly, so definitely bear that in mind. There are going to be some restrictions when update 2.0 comes out, but that is later on this month. In just a few weeks time we get those changes coming into the game, and that is the bulk of the preload for the Forsaken expansion as well. Next though, Bungie gives some interesting stats for year 1. Specifically, it's actually season 3 stats. We can see right here all of the numbers for the various pledges to the faction rallies. There have been 6,413,000 normal raid clears and 757,000 prestige clears. They list the kills and deaths of guardians inside of each of the raids there, which is pretty cool. Public events completed 263,441,000. That's absolutely insane. 194,000 players with Whisper of the Worm and only 8,750 players with Regix's Claymore, which is absolutely crazy as well. But check this out. 807,635 shaders deleted. And according to Bungie, that is in the last 77 days between Warmind up until the final Season 3 faction rally. So pretty crazy stuff right there. That is a lot of numbers. But of course, on the subject of Bungie's upcoming Year 2 combat reveal stream, they did post a trailer for this. They say we'll catch a glimpse of the new user interface you'll use to employ and choose your weapons and modify them. We'll spectate a battle between developers on a new Crucible map to debut in Season 4. There will be blood, so it is definitely going to feature the Crucible, but we'll get a look potentially at mods, the UI for weapons, so perks, the various changes there, which is pretty cool. Bungie did post a new trailer for this reveal stream, so just in case you missed it in my last video, you can check it out here, but I will link my previous video as well, where we break down some of the stuff that you actually see in there. So pretty cool trailer to get a glimpse at. Notably, it appears that we have a 3-tap hand cannon right there with the Better Devils. A lot of people have said maybe the rocket actually hit the Titan, and that's why we actually see the 3-tap, but a lot of the Bungie devs were teasing on Twitter about the 3-tap, which seems pretty strange if it actually wasn't a 3-tap kill. But I guess we'll wait and see what happens. Now though, I wanted to round up a few things about Solstice of Heroes. Some of this is kind of miscellaneous, but it should be pretty useful, especially if you are still grinding for armor and things like that. Before we talk more about unlocks though, I spoke about the Cade Spicy Ramen quest, and this is a quest associated with Solstice of Heroes. It is a milestone, so it appears it's going to come up at a random time during the event, but I wanted to point out there is actually a spicy ramen shop inside of the new event space for Solstice of Heroes. I hadn't actually noticed this on the first couple of times that I went into the space. I don't believe I have any footage of this, but Nullity42 posted some real cool 4K screenshots of this space to Reddit, and we can see the ramen logo right there, and we can see it here. It's actually in this alleyway. This is an area that I didn't explore whatsoever so far. Either way, it seems possible that this is the location we'll have to go to during the quest. There is of course a ramen shop in the normal tower as well, but you've seen some other 4K screenshots of the space. Credit once again to Nullity, they're pretty awesome. But now I wanted to round up a few things about Solstice of Heroes, upgrades and objectives. So somebody pointed out you don't have to wear the full set of Solstice armor into the Crucible to do the Crucible challenges or upgrades, so you only actually need to wear the piece that has the objective on it when it comes to PvP, and then you can run potentially other exotics and armor pieces to get your stats good. And for most of the blue set, that is the case in any kind of content. So if you need to do a mission, you could just have the blue piece of gear on for that mission and then run your normal gear in the other slots. But of course you will be limiting your progress on other objectives then. When you're completing adventures for the Solstice armor, somebody did point out that Mercury adventures don't actually count as adventures, or at least that they won't count on the armor piece as having cleared an adventure, so do bear that in mind. If you're having an issue with the Valor rank objective on some of your blue armor, of course you do have to get the legend requirement. If you have previously reached legend but it didn't activate on the piece of gear, then what you need to do is jump into a match with all of that gear on, and it'll basically update and notify that gear that you are of that particular rank. So that's a pretty useful tip as well. Another Reddit post which was super useful: hunters who are struggling with 50 solar melee kills can use a solar sword with no ammo and it counts, and this does actually work for all of the classes. So if you are getting those melee kills, you can just just essentially use the hilt of a sword. You just make sure that it is the correlating element. It may be useful to get those melee kills done nice and quickly. A shout out about the Chroma Packs that you can buy at Eververse. They will actually only give you one piece of chroma when you pick them up, and I believe there will be cheaper ways to actually purchase the various different glows that you can get. You could just pick them up for bright dust instead. Do just bear in mind the packs apparently only give you one piece of chroma. And here's another really random shout. If you're on the Chosen mission, you can actually apparently spam respawn when you die, and if you're playing solo, when you're about to wipe, it will actually respawn you before the wipe screen happens. I've seen a few people report this, so if you happen to be in that mission, especially solo, give it a try. What's the worst that could happen, I guess? But that's just a few random things which have been posted to Reddit, some of the issues people have been having, and some various ways to work around them. Let me know any tips that you have for Solstice of Heroes down in the comment section. But for now, that's pretty much going to summarize the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on any of the stuff we've covered in this one. If you have enjoyed it though, a like is very much appreciated below. But if you are new around here and you want to keep up to date with Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. A rating and your thoughts below are super appreciated, guys. But for now, thank you for watching. Whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.